Football Kenya Federation President in an exclusive interview with myself, of course, talking to us on a raft of football issues in the country, sports sponsorship after termination of contracts with SportPesa and reports of Paul Put heading to Guinea, and also having some word of appeal to KPL, which is kicking off this particular weekend. And talking about Kenyan Premier League, of course, it's the segment we're going to be delving into right now. KPL Chat is the headline. And of course, remember, several fixtures lined up this particular weekend. FC Leopards against Posta Rangers is a game that will be televised on our mother channel, KBC Channel 1, and Osoro, Robert Amfapid, and Simon Sepe Mulama will be there to bring you the live action and some little bit of analysis. But before that, of course, joining us on set right now is Ronnie, Aloyo, Osoro, Robert still with us, and even Ronald Okoth is just here with us as well, former Gor Mahia Western Steamer and Mathare United striker, to take us through the analysis of KPL fixtures slated for this particular weekend. But before we head to, match day, let's talk about transfers. Ronnie, Aloyo, Kakamega Homeboys seem to be a team that, has made headlines positive-wise. Of course, several players, parted ways with Tusk FC. Alan Wanga, former Kenyan international. James Situma, KFA president and former Tusk FC captain. Noah Fula, former FC Leopards and Tusk FC wing, also joining Kakamega Homeboys. What do you make of transfers?
Well, the transfer season in KPL has nothing really spectacular, because clubs are doing the same thing and expecting different results. We've seen the likes of Kakamega Homeboys bringing in old players. I don't think the likes of Alan Nwanga and James Situma can really bring in the tick that you expect. They'll bring in some oomph, but not really win you titles. Well, if you look at the other clubs, FC Leopards, Gor Mahia, everyone is trying to contest by signing the highest number of players.
Yes.
We are seeing 12, 15. Leopards is doing 17, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, I think it's the same thing, same new year.
Yeah.
Clubs doing the same thing and hoping that it changes. But,
Finally.
I doubt there's something positive to
because
speak about the transfer.
it is a transfer season, and you are seeing a club like Gor Mahia itself signing 12, 13 players. FC Leopards signing 17 players. So the big question is, how do you integrate these players into a team? And it's a season. You are going on in a season. We could like to see a team strengthening. The Nzoia Sugar did not bring in many players. They brought in, I think, 6 players. And that's someone who I think who knows his team and wants to integrate this to the team. But 17 players, for me, it's a big number.
You remember last weekend in the derby, Matano, after losing 1-0, he was quoted saying that, well, I brought in a very new side. I'm having 17 new players. We're still gelling. We're still trying to find our footing. Yeah. And it's just a week to the kickoff of the league, and they are going to play in the CAF Confederations Cup. So I think it's just a season of the same problems. New year, clubs signing 17, a whole new team, and expecting that it will work out for them. Leopards is leading the line, unfortunately, and I doubt this will be an improved season for them.
Ronald, welcome to Y254 once again. We are discussing the KPL transfers. You have been in a team. You have played for Mathare United, Western Steamer. The big question is, we are having a transfer. Yeah. You are getting 12 new players joining your team. How do you integrate in a week or two to start the league? Because our season is, we have a 2-month transfer window. Our league ends in November, December most likely. So you have December, January, February you are on for the league. How does it happen? How does it work out?
I think honestly, to be fair, it doesn't work easily, because if you recruit a large number of players, by the time they'll be gelling in, and our league doesn't give you that space to gel in, because they want results immediately. So to me, I think it was a bad move of signing so many players, because there'll be little time for them to gel in. And a team like FC Leopards, they need results instantly.
Yes.
They don't have the time for, we want some more time, the boys will gel in. So I think it will be a pressure on their side to prove the fans wrong, because even the fans themselves, they've been saying that we've recruited a large number of players. So I think maybe it will be a disadvantage to them. I
tend to agree with Ronald, because if you look at most clubs, like Leopards, assume there's the big question of, do you want instant results or you want us to develop talent slowly? Yeah. So the fans are baying for the blood of the coach and the neck. They want players who can deliver instant results, instant coffee results. But then again, so it's a big question of do you have the time to bring in young players, develop them over the years, probably 2 or 3 seasons, then get the title, or just try a quick fix, bring in the old guards like Collins Okoth and try see if it works?
Yeah,
and of course, Ronald Okoth, you are vocal and outspoken on your social media platforms after reports of, Tusk FC parting ways with the likes of Situma, Alan Wanga, Noah Full, and we've seen also some teams like Posta Rangers acquiring, players of vast experience. Danson Cargo moving to Posta alongside Esbon Mandi, former Mathare United. What do you make of the transfers as even the season kicks off overall?
Overall, I think the team that caught my eyes was Tusker, because if you look at the pedigree of the players they've let go, they would easily fit into another team first 11 and even win the league. So I think Tusker caught me by surprise. If they let go players like Nieno, Situma, Wanga, so I think Tusker caught me by surprise. And then Mathare, Mathare they go for the young inexperienced players. So I think Mathare they recruited well. Looking at the batch of players that they've brought into the team, they recruited so well, because if you look at the young players, that people are ready to prove a point. So I think Tusk and Mathare caught my eyes.
Although there's a problem when you get so much money, like the case of Kakamega Homeboys.
Yes.
They've certainly received some financial boost from the county government, and they're running everywhere, buying everyone. So I think that's the problem that, again, you run into when you have too much money in your hands and you don't know what to do with it. So I think that also caught my attention. But, the bottom line is no one has done anything spectacular. Gor Mahia still remain the dominant side, and they are the team to beat this season.
But
Collins Okoth moving to FC Leopards, a talking point, and he was sparkling during the Super Cup at the Afra Stadium in Nakuru County last weekend during Mashemeji Derby. What do you make of his acquisition, and even Wesley Onguso making a move from Sofapaka to Gor?
In my opinion, Collins still isn't fit. He's been out for quite some time, so it will take a couple of matches before he fits in. But you go to the dilemma of where do you play Collins Okoth, where do you play Majid, and where do you play Duncan Otieno, the captain, because all of them, in my opinion, seem to play the same position. But I think Collins is more effective because Collins knows how to be the go between the attack and the defense. I think he's more effective in playing in that position. We've seen Duncan Otieno being brought back to play in the defense alongside Shitu. So I tend to think that's what they'll go with in the season. But certainly Matano will be faced with the headache of who to play where, because the defense is also full, lots of players in different positions. So fielding might be a challenge for him, I think.
Ronald, what do you make of Nzoia Sugar, Bernard Mwalala? Because of all the managers who have signed players, and I'm looking at the Nzoia Sugar lineup, the players they have brought in, it's only 2 players who have been in the league. That is Moven Otinya from Sofapaka and David Okoth from Kakamega Homeboys. But the other 4 players that they have brought in are high school kids. We have got Dennis Wanjala and Tom Teka from the Green Commandos, and then Patrick Otieno from Bukembe Secondary. Now, does Mwalala be the man who is making good players? Because he is leaving all his signings. I've gone Masita Masuta to Lindsay, and then Colin Sodawa, Julius Were, Dennis Ongeri, Geoffrey Karuk, and Lawrence Juma to Gor Mahia. He has left like 5 good players, like his whole engine has shifted to Gor Mahia. What do you make of that transfer?
I think if you look at a coach like Mwalala, I think he knows what he's doing, because if you look at Zoya, when they came into the league, they were an unknown team. They were an unknown team, but they came and proved the point. So you see the team that he has, most of them haven't even played the Premier League.
Yes.
But they came in, they brushed shoulders with the big boys, and at the end of the season, last season, we saw how they performed remarkably.
Yeah.
So I think he knows what he's doing, and bringing in players that are unknown, that are still making a name for themselves. I think he's been there, he's done that, and I know he'll prove again.
Ronnie, is Mwalala and the likes of Kimanzi, because when you look at the signings of Mathare United, the best experienced player he brought in was Aluanga from Tusker to a very young Mathare United. Are these the coaches who are going now to change this shift in the Kenya Premier League, where we got players like Humphrey Miano just changing clubs every season? Every season they're in Tusker, Sofapaka, FC Leopards, back to Gor Mahia, and next season he might be even in Bandari. No Abichi, Bandari, I don't know, Tusker and all that.
United now at
so
Nakumatt.
Are these the managers who are going to change this focus? In that now we get, Miano, just stick with Tusker for 5 years. Then we see what you can do.
Okay, what I can say about that is, first, if you look at a team like Mathare, if you look at a team like maybe Mathare, Nzoia, Western Stima, the small, let me call them the small teams. If you look at the budget they have, it's a minimal budget. And the type of players they sign players who they know they can manage within the budget. But if you look at Gor Mahia, because you can't expect a player like maybe Zigimana going to play for Western Stima. Yeah, with all due respect. Because at the end of the month, their package is huge. And a team like Mathare, they have a, how do I call it? They have a system whereby they recruit only the young players who have gone through the Maisa ranks.
And
then also their budget is within that. The cap that they have. So I think again it all depends with what you want to pay the player and which player you want to bring into your team.
Ronnie, Stephen Waruru making a move from military side to Sofapaka. Big surprise?
I follow Stephen Waruru on social media, and he seemed to celebrate his move from the military to now civilian football, I'd say. But he was embroiled in a big tangle of a double signing. And I think it was one of the highlights of the transfer season. I think alongside Lawrence Juma. Lawrence Juma and Waruru were both accused of double signing. So I'm afraid that a player of his stature will be embroidered in an issue such as that. I just tend to call it greed because he really knows the transfer rules. But anyhow, he's made the move. He's a good player. Last season, he came in, scored the goals. Didn't get a chance at the national team, but he's a good player. He has the potential, and I tip him to perform.
2018 KPL kickoff is what we're talking right about now. This is the Touchline. If you're just tuning right now, a very, very fantastic Saturday afternoon, and welcome to the program. 22162 is the SMS line starting with the word touch, and also you can keep interacting with us on our social media platforms at Wasike Maxwell, to Osoro, but at hashtag Touchline Y254. Remember, KPL is kicking off this particular afternoon with various fixtures lined up. Gor Mahia opening their title defense against the cash-strapped Nakumatt FC at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County. Remember, FC Leopards against Posta Rangers at Afra Stadium in Nakuru County in a double-header fixture that will be curtain-raised by Ulinzi Stars against Zoo. Remember, those fixtures will be televised with the later being shown on our mother channel, KBC Channel 1. So you're going to stay tuned to Channel 1 for, live and exclusive coverage of that particular fixture. Now, as we talk about the fixtures lined up this particular weekend, Nzoia against Kariobangi Sharks, they were debutants last season and they pulled a surprise, remaining in KPL top flight, not being relegated. And Nzoia against Tusker FC in their first fixture last year against Tusker, I remember it was 7-goal thriller, 5-2. Can we expect the same, Ronald?
I think personally, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of goals this weekend and a lot of surprises. Because if you look at a team like Tusker, they have new players who have not even gelled in yet. So I think I'm excited to see how these teams will perform.
Where's the pressure? Where's the pressure? Because we've got the debutants who stayed. We've got Zukericho.
Actually, all the debutants stayed.
The 4 truth and L, they stayed. We've got Zoya Sugar. They fought and they stayed. Nakumatt also. We've got also newcomers like Wazito. AFC are making their debut in the Kenya Premier League. A team like Kariobangi Sharks going on to 3rd place in the Kenya Premier League. Where will be the pressing point? Where will the pressure be? Because the KPL mainstays will be there. Gor Mahia will be fighting to be there. FC Leopards, Sofapaka. But where will be the pressure be this season?
You certainly cannot say that Nzoia and Kariobangi Sharks were lucky to stay in the league. They really knew what they wanted, and they got what they wanted. So Kariobangi Sharks were a very good side last season. You got to give it up to them. But then the transfer window has seen them lose about 5 key players.
Elias Eche moved to Sofapaka.
Kitawi, Monday. So
and the top scorer, Masoud
Juma. And I doubt they've replaced these players with very good, or rather worthy replacements. So I think against Nzoia it would be an interesting match to see what both sides have to bring to the table. Probably looks like a draw, that one. If you look at Posta versus FC Leopards, well,
I know you'll be partisan in your prediction,
I'll not be partisan.
Owing to your affiliation and love for Leopards.
My love for Leopards cannot be equated to anything, but I think it will be a very dull match. Posta plays negative football. They don't score many goals. If they go 1 up, expect them to sit back and soak in the pressure. Leopards, well, against Gor Mahia, Matano was playing negative football. You couldn't see the passes and the nice football, so I doubt it will be an interesting match to watch. Well, it will be just a boring match for the afternoon.
Ronald, FC Leopards are locking horns against Posta Rangers this afternoon, and of course, Rangers are going into this fixture boasting of the goalkeeping prowess in Patrick Matasi, a man who made exploits during Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup in December last year, you know, handing Kenya a title after, you know, making some heroic saves. Can this be a key to determine the outcome of the fixture?
I think, just like my colleague has said, it will be a very difficult match. If you look at the way Posta plays their football, their tactical discipline and all that, they play a lot more defensive football.
Yes.
And also, if you look at an FC Leopard that they are facing, it's a new team that is still trying to play together. So I think it will be a tight game.
Tight game it is.
Just maybe a barren draw.
And you know, it's a fight between defenders, Matano and Pamzo.
Yeah, they are very good.
Fight between key defenders.
But don't be surprised if we start, if after the match in this one you start hearing Matano must go. I think FC Leopards is a pressure tank in itself, and having lost to Gor Mahia in the derby, and majority of the fans are not really sure that he's the man to deliver them the title this season, which they really are hungry for. So I'll not be surprised if after 90 minutes we hear Matano must go.
Let me ask this. Last time we were with Simon Mulama and we were talking coaches who know Kenyan Premier League, and he said Robert Matano knows the Kenyan Premier League and he knows to handle Kenyan players, Kenya Premier League players. Now you're looking at Robert Matano at FC Leopards, start of the season. He's not coming in midway, and you saw what he did. We came midway, took them all the way to the Go TV Shield finals. From the start of the season with Robert Matano himself, FC is a good side.
It is a good side on paper, but they've signed the same caliber of players. They've signed average foreigners, some of them former international, like Henry Uche, formerly of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So they've signed average internationals, which doesn't change. That has been the case over the season, so that doesn't change. If you look at the local players acquired, nothing spectacular. They are signing well, no offense, but they've signed Ezekiel Odera, a player who has nothing really spectacular to write home about. So, well, the coach could be good, but the same players, the same recruitment style. So I don't see anything spectacular for FC Leopards to look forward to this season.
Of course, a game that one Osoro Robert is looking forward to, owing to his unwavering love for that particular team, is 16-time KPL champion Gor Mahia, of course, taking on 17 now. Taking on cash-strapped Nakumatt FC at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County. That fixture will be kicking off at 3 p.m. Ronald, what do you make of that particular clash? Is there a scenario where we can witness an upset and a big surprise for Nakumatt to stand the champions?
No way. I think Gor Mahia will run with it home and dry.
Sure.
Because, yeah, if you look at the players Gor Mahia signed,
yes,
I think there are 30.
Around 13 players actually.
12
but the total number of players in the team, they're around 30. They're around 30.
Yes.
And if you look at the whole team, if you remove the first 11 and replace them with the other guys, they'll just play like they.
So you're trying to say Gor Mahia is the Kenyan version of City, Manchester City?
Because if you look, they will sign everybody.
Yes.
They think he's good enough. So I think they have an upper hand because financially they're better off. Even the performance, if you look at the performance, they perform better. So I think this season is theirs again.
I usually say, and I said it earlier, Gor Mahia is done with the Kenya Premier League. In 5 years, you have lifted the Kenya Premier League trophy. It is time now to go to Continental and start fighting for the Africa Champions League and all. In that, go back to your status. Kenya Premier League for you, it's done. And when you look at their signings, Humphrey Miano is going to be a good key player midfield for Gor Mahia. It's not Wesley Onguso himself is going to be key for Gor Mahia. And then their key engine is still back. Even though they lost Musa Mohamed and Kenneth Muguna, their engine is still there. We've got Nezigemane, even though he's on injury, he can still come back and play. Shakava will be still marshalling that midfield. Now, going forward, they brought in someone like Samuel Onyango. Even that midfield is Sasidi Lumumba. What do you make of him? Also him getting a Gor Mahia jersey right now.
The exiting players will not really
Affect
Gor Mahia, because Lawrence Juma, in my opinion, was one of the 2 best midfielders last season. Then you have Lumumba coming in, you have Miano, you have Samuel Onyango, formerly of Ulinzi. So Gor Mahia in this league, they don't have any competition, but as it's been said before, it's now becoming like a rocking chair. They're moving, but they're not making progress.
Yes.
Because you can be sure, you can put your head on this, that they'll go to the Champions League and they'll be out in the second round for reasons best known to us, financial and quality. So they've become like a rocking chair. They're moving, but no progress.
And talking about continental championships, of course, Kenyan teams have failed to replicate their glittering local show during, African championships. Gor Mahia will be participating in CAF Champions League by the virtue that they won KPL title, and FC Leopards, their rivals, will represent the country during CAF Confederations by the virtue that they won GoTV Shield. We shall be keeping an eye on those particular, competitions and see whether, they can break the jinx of awful show that has been witnessed previously. But now we're still talking about KPL. Several fixtures lined up this particular weekend. Ulinzi Stars against Zua Tafra Stadium 2 p.m. Gor Mahia against Nakumatt at Kenyatta Stadium, Machakos County 3 p.m. Chemilil Sugar against Tusker FC at Chemilil Complex 3 p.m. Nzoia Sugar Football Club against Kariobangi Sharks at Sudi Stadium 3 p.m. Then Wazito against Sony Sugar at Camp Toyoyo 3 p.m. and Posta Rangers against Leopards 4:15. But now, Ronnie, Wazito, newly promoted side, a team that is associated with the University of Nairobi alumni, coming together to form the team. They have been promoted to top flight after finishing second in NSL last season. They are taking on Sony Sugar at Camp Toyoyo this afternoon. What are the expectations?
Sony Sugar has been silent, but if you look at their recruitment, they've brought in some very good players. And you can be sure that Sony Sugar will be a force to reckon. For Azito, well, they've been chasing this, and it's a dream come true for them. That alone is reason enough to celebrate. But, well, there's no time for celebration, really, because now the baptism of fire is here. Their recruitment, well, not so good. An example is Harun Nyahau, they brought in from FC Leopards. Well, a player who's not really grown over the years. I doubt Wazito has the oomph to really challenge for the title. There have been talks from even their coach, Franco Una, that they want to be the Sofapaka of 2009. But I doubt they have that quality.
Get promoted to top flight for the first time and win the league.
Yeah, almost do a Leicester Cinderella kind of story, but they cannot.
I think that if Wazito come, the way Nzoia came, the way Kariobangi came, with your players from the NSL, you come and you believe in yourself. You might not get the title, yes, but you can push the Kenya Premier League. Because you look at Nzoia Sugar, they came with their own players, they joined the league, and they never cared. They just fought their way in the league. Kariobangi did the same. But now, after 1 year in the league, now you start now that you want to look for the KPL players to make you stay in the Kenyan Premier League. Which for me, I think, you believe in your own players, you can still stay in the Kenyan Premier League.
But yes, I do agree largely. But also, if you look at it, they do not have some standout players who can make the difference for them. They do not have those kind of players. And to win the league, if you look at Gor Mahia, if you look at Leicester, you have to have some standout players. That's a constant. There has to be a Mahrez kind of player, Jamie Vardy kind of player, N'Golo Kante kind of player, those who stand out for the team, so that when the team is down, they can do magic and give you the results. So Wazito was good players, but not good enough to win them the title.
Let's not isolate Robert Okoth from this particular discussion, because he featured for Mathare United, the Slum Boys. And talking about the Slum Boys, they are locking horns against Viga United, the newly promoted side, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Bukungu Stadium. Expectations as far as your former side is concerned against Viga, best club, which has just been promoted and is playing at home.
The last time we played Vihiga at their stadium, it was a very tough match. And I'm also looking forward to another, just like the other time. I don't think there'll be. I don't expect many changes when it comes to that game, because if you look at both coaches, they're very tactical coaches, and especially Coach Kimanzi.
Yes,
he believes in a lot of tactics. So I think he's going there with the mindset of maybe getting a point, but not going to lose the match.
One team that we have not talked about is Tusker FC. One, is the coming back of Sam Timbe. Before we talk about their players and all that, Timbe is going to give them a niche in the Kenyan Premier League itself.
Timbe is a good coach. I think Ronald will agree with me that Timbe is a good coach.
Yes.
He knows what he technically is good, and is also a disciplinarian. There are reports that he's introduced some discipline rules at Tusker, but he's a good coach. I doubt that they have the quality. Losing the kind of players they've lost, I don't think they've really replaced them with worthy replacements. It's a fairly good side, likely to finish in the top 5, but not really title contenders.
Because when you look at Tusker, Ronald, they really lost almost the entire team. Mieno is gone, Sassid is gone, Kago is gone, Noah Wafula, Situma, Alan Wanga, Clifford Alwanga, Anthony Ndolo is gone, Martin Kiza is gone, and George Mandela. That is like 7 players who could make the starting lineup of Tusker FC moving out of Tusker.
And they were released.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for them.
If I can add on that, I think I read somewhere that Tusker, they're in a rebuilding process, that they want to start it. They want to build a team for the future.
Yes.
So if that is to go by, I'm hoping they'll give Timbe enough time to work with these boys and maybe to build a side that can reckon with every club. But if you look at the players that they let go, even me, I was surprised. I even wrote it somewhere.
Yeah.
Because if you look, these are players, if you take them into another team, they'll easily go into first 11. They'll even easily win for your silverware.
Yes.
So it was a surprise for me that they let them go.
And talking about Tusker and the players they released to other teams, of course, Alan Wanga, Noah Wafula, and James Situma, KPL president and former captain. They are at Kakamega Homeboys, and Homeboys will be taking on Thika United tomorrow, Nicholas Muyoti's side. Can we expect a rout in favor of the Western-based club?
I think Alan and Situma and Wanga and Hamati going to Noah, joining Homeboys, it also caught me by surprise because I never expected that. Maybe I thought Situma, Wanga, maybe they'll join Sofapaka or the likes.
Yes.
But it's a big move, and I know they want to prove a point. So I'm looking forward to the way Homeboys are going to play this season and the way Wanga, Noah, and Situma will impact the team.
And Wanga, talking about Wanga, the former Kenyan international and former FC Leopard striker, has just been elevated to some, prestigious job position by the county, director of sports. Can that, be a motivational factor and steer the performance of the team overall?
Yeah, it should be a motivation factor because if you look at a player like Wanga, I think he's won everything. He's a player that is played everywhere, and most of us, including me, we look up to him. So I think him being given such a post in that region, it will change football and bring a lot of changes. So it's a good thing that the county government has decided to put him in such a post, and I know it will be a good thing that will bring changes into the football in that region.
Ronnie, what do you think?
Wanga has won everything that he could win, both at club, national level, and at personal level, really. He's been top scorer in several leagues. He's won several league cups. So, I think it's that time of the season when, or at that time of the career when you are reaching the sunset, and when you get an opportunity to serve your county, especially in the field where you love most, which is sports, then I think you can't turn it down. Wanga himself is delighted to take up the position. I'm sure he'll perform. He has the skill, he has the knowledge, he has the experience, and we wish him well as a player now and as a sports director of sports in the county.
Finally, Bandari against Sofapaka.
Sofapaka lost a couple of players, maybe 4 key players, but it's a good side. It's good because they have the money. Certain betting companies giving them about 50 million, I understand. That's good money to sustain you through the league. So I think it's good motivation for them. In the second leg, you could see them trying to challenge Gor Mahia for the title. You could see what the likes of Umaru Kasumba were doing. So now that they're starting the league very fresh, they know the areas that were weak last season. They've corrected that. They have a good coach. Sam Simba is very, very experienced. They should be title contenders.
To add on that, I think Sofapaka will carry the day because if you look at last season, they were cash strap side. They didn't have any money, but the way they were playing, the football they were playing, there's a game we played with them in Machakos, and you couldn't tell which team was being paid and which team was not being paid. Because the way they play wholeheartedly, if I can say that. So, and then with the new sponsorship coming in, it's a new morale booster to them. And I know this season they're going to surprise a lot of people.
Overall, as we wind up, Ronnie, starting with you, what are you looking forward to KPL this season?
I look forward to Gormaya winning the title.
I'm looking forward to my team, Madara United, finishing in the top 4.
2018 KPL was the discussion this particular afternoon on KPL Chat, which is kicking off this particular weekend. 5 fixtures lined up in various parts of the country, then 3 tomorrow. But remember, Gor against Nakumat, and Gor seeking to defend their title in a version, that game coming away from 3 p.m. East African time. But FC Leopards against Rangers from 4:15, a game that will be televised by our mother channel, KBC. So you're going to stay tuned and get the full updates. But the show continues, the fan favorite segment, the fan zone, coming later on in a few minutes from now. Of course, we're talking about international football transfers, you know, reunion of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Yo Pierre is the Twitter trending handle, and Henrik Mkhitaryan, and you know, Alexis Sanchez is at United, but they lost to Spurs 2-0. Some saying Alexis Sanchez and Olivier Giroud brought their poor form of their Arsenal team to their new respective teams. I don't know. Do you agree? Stay tuned. Don't go away. This is the Touchline.